Hi, I'm Teresa from PotomacBeads. Today we will create together my jungle flowers earrings with Potomac Crystal Rivolis, rondelles and a lot of seed beads. So let's gather them up and start working. So to make the jungle flowers earrings, we will work with the wildfire thread 0.006 diameter. I am working with size 10 needle. And we'll be working with selection of Miyuki beads, so delica in 11 O's, then classic round seed beads 11 O's. I will show you. This is the delica, 15 O's in two colors, the pink and the gold for the back side. And then we will also add some sparkles with Potomac Crystal Rivolis. This is the number 14, 12 and 10 millimeters. And we will also use the Potomac Crystal rondelles, the smallest size 1.5 times 2 millimeters. Then you can use an ear hook or a leverback, it's your choice. And that's all you will need for these earrings. So let's start. First we will bezel the smallest Rivoli, the 10 millimeter size. If you don't know how to bezel a Rivoli, if you've never done that before, I advise you to watch our video, Ellie did it, how to bezel a Rivoli. That will show you in detail how to do it. You will need to know the tubular peyote stitch, and we will start working with the wildfire and the delica beads. If you don't know the numbers, how many to start with for each number of Rivoli or different shapes, you can check out our blog, the ultimate directory for the delica bezels, and there's everything, so it's a pretty awesome cheat sheet for any crystal you can bezel. So let's do it. So for the Rivoli, in 10 millimeters, I'll start with 26 delica beads on my wildfire thread. I am using quite a long piece of thread because I know I will use it for the other Rivoli, for the pair. So that's okay. So a wingspan long piece of thread. And with 26 beads we can start. So instead of making double knots, I prefer to just go through on the other end through the first 3 beads, which will give me some space. If I tie too much the thread and the bezel is too tight, this can give me some leverage to move a bit around. So now we have a circle and we will work with the peyote stitch. So the first row will be with the delicas. So pick one delica bead, skip a bead, and then go to the third one. Pick another delica, skip the next bead, and go to the third one. In the beginning you will have to pull for the tail quite a long, I have like 10 centimeters piece of tail, and you will have to pull like here and here as well, so everything is nice and tight. But it's better than the knot. So I took another bead and I'm skipping one bead and going through the next. So like this I will go around the whole bezel, and then we will step up to the next row, and from there we will work with the 11 O's, the classic round ones. So I am adding my last bead. And now I need to step up to be able to start on the next row. So I'm going through the first bead I added. Now in the next row I'll be working with 11 O's. So in between these sticky outies we will add one bead. And like this go around the whole circle. When you added the last bead, you need to again step up, so go lastly through this delica and then also through the first bead we added in this row. And after that, create a row with the 15 O's just like we are doing here. So now you have a row of 11 O's, and on top of that, sorry, there's a knot probably going on somewhere. And on top of this one, you will be adding these pink 15 O's So you will have the front of the Rivoli looking like this. After that we will move to the back side. I finished also the 15 row, so now you should have a small round basket, something like this. And we want to get to the other side, so go through the beads, and you can do it separately, of course. 1, 2, 3. And you want to exit in the delica, any of them on the other side which is sticking out. And now pull. I will also pull for the other tail. And now I want to insert the Rivoli, the color side up, facing the 15 O's, like this. Now we will be working with the gold 15 O's. We will create 2 rows of these. So first, 1 row of the gold 15 O's, which are going in between the delicas. So insert 1 15 O in between each delica. After that we will create another row with 15 O's, but it will be slightly different. So after I finish this one, I'll get back to you. So for me this row is finished. Now I stepped up to the first 15 O we added, and now I will be working with the gold 15 O's as well, but into each gap I will insert into the first one 15 O, and through the next one I will just go without anything. We want to lessen the number of beads so we can close the back side. So now I have bead, gap. Now I will insert a bead, and then I will go through without anything, so I will create a gap. And like this, so we went from number 26, that was the number of the beginning beads. We went to number 13, which is the number of beads per row, and now we want to divide them by 2 again. Now the number of beads per row is 13, so we get not a nice number, which is 6.5. So we will get an odd number, and I will show you how to fix this, because we, instead of having a gap at the end, we will have 2 beads next to each other. You will know what I'm talking about just shortly. So adding another bead, creating a gap in the next one, and almost there. With the other Rivolis, the other sizes, we have numbers 12 millimeters and 14, and there are even numbers, so we won't have this issue anymore. It will be nice. So last gap, and here I am supposed to insert a bead, right? And if we would have an even number, there would be a gap, right? But no, there's the beginning 15 O, but that's okay. I'll show you. So finish the row at the last 15 O. And now step up through the first bead you added, so the neighboring 15 O. And now into these large gaps we created. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gaps. We will add always 1 11 O. So go through the beads which you added in this row, and in between those add 1 11 O. So add 6 in total, and then we will work with more 15 O's. So now I have the 6 11 O's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am in the last 15 O from the previous row, and here I would then add an 11 O. But no, I will just go and create a gap instead. You can see it here as well, how it looks from the other side, that I have only 6 11 O's there as well. And then I will step up to this 11 O. And here in between each 11 O, to have the other side nice as well, I will pick one pink 15-0 and add it in between the 11-0s, which we just added. So the trick with the 10mm is that you will have the odd number, which you just fix like this, that you will just go in the next row. It will be hidden and it won't seem so symmetrical, so don't worry about it. Plus it's on the other side, so it won't be almost invisible. With the numbers 12 and 14, I did completely the same thing. I started with 15-0s in the gold color. In the next row there was one 15-0 gap, one 15-0 gap, one 15-0 gap, and it worked nicely. I just stepped up. I didn't have two beads neighboring, just bead, gap, bead. Then I added the 11-0s just around like you would do in peyote, and then the 15-0s. The same with the 14mm, so you are completely fine and ready to do it on your own. And we just finished the back side of the 10mm size. I would recommend now knotting the thread somewhere just to be sure that we have a complete bezel. And this is it, this is the back side. You can adjust the bezel a bit so it's nice and round. And then continue through the beads back to the front. And we'll be adding embellishments, which will be, in the case of the 10mm Rivoli, one row of delicas, and we'll be adding it to this most outer row of delicas. So now when I am in one delica which is neighboring with the 11-0 here, with any, that doesn't matter, I picked one delica and I'm going through the next one, and that's all you want to do. Just check that you are in the correct row. When you edit the delica, it should sit from the front visually on top of this one, of the 11-0. So go for it, add one delica per time and go around the whole Rivoli. You should have 13 delicas sticking out, and after that we will just add the hook, and the 10mm Rivoli bezel is already finished. So now the 10mm Rivoli is finished in the way of bezeling. So like that, you need to prepare also the Rivoli in the size 12 and 14mm. So you need to bezel it, cover the back side and add the delica row always in the same spot. So you will have the sticking out delicas sitting on top of the 11-0s here. The only difference is that you will, for the 12mm Rivoli, start with 32 delicas instead of 26 like we did here. And for the 14mm Rivoli, you will start with number 36 instead of 26. Then on the back side it will be much easier because there is the even number, so no bead to bead, but bead, gap, bead. It will be nice and smooth, I promise you. But if you struggle with Rivoli, I really recommend just watching how to bezel Rivoli first. Then you will learn that and then move over to this, because maybe it can feel a bit complicated to you. So this is how you will create the other two. You can set them aside now. And now we need to finish the 10mm because we want to have it ready and add the hook. So I finished here by adding the last delica, so I will go through the first one we added. There I will pick two 15-0s, my ear wire and two more 15-0s, and just go through the ear wire and then through the delica from the other side, and adjusting the ear hook. What I want to do is that I don't want the metal touching the thread. So I need to really tie the thread nice and tight, so it's sitting in between the beads and is not touching the thread. That protects the thread and prevents the ear hook from slipping ever out. So I went twice, I will go 3 times just to strengthen the loops. And after that you can knot off the thread, cut the thread and hide also the tail after knotting it. And the top will be completely finished. And you can move over to the other rivolis and we will be doing the connecting and the embellishing. You can also, you can see that I have my threads here because I plan to work with them. So if you have long piece of thread on the other rivolis, you can definitely keep them and you don't have to cut them if you don't want to. So I will go down, knot it and hide the knot and cut the thread. And after that, the kind of fun part starts. We can start connecting them and adding more crystals and seed beads. We'll start with connecting the 12mm Rivoli to the 10mm Rivoli. I hid already the tail so it doesn't get in the way. So we want to connect these 2 delicas towards each other. It doesn't matter which 2's here on the 12, but definitely these 2 which are in the middle on the 10. So we just want to get them close to each other and like this connect them together. So sorry about this. So they will be sitting on top of each other. And I'll just circle around and zip them sort of together like this. And I will go twice. So like this, that's number 1. Then just to get easier to the other one, pick one 11/0 and go to the next delica, which is on the 12mm Rivoli. So I'm there and now I can circle and connect also through the other one. Just the delicas together, don't mind the 11/0 there anymore. So once and twice, sorry, like this. Now we will add the rondelles. So on one side I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rondelles, then the 11/0 and then another 11/0 and then a third 11/0. So 1, 2, 3 11/0s and then, what did I say, 6 rondelles again. So let's start with the rondelles. So I'm here at this gap, picking one rondelle, going through the next delica. Picking another one, number 3, just going through the delicas that are sticking out with the Potomac Crystal rondelles, the smallest size, 5 and 6. So like this. Now I will have there the 11/0s, so 11/0 number 1 into the next gap, number 2 second gap, which is the one in the middle, and last 11/0. And now I need to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, surprisingly, 6 rondelles into each gap. After that, go to the other side, knot off the thread, and then the embellishing of the size 12 Rivoli is done, and we will move over to the number 14. And now to the final Rivoli, so we will connect them in the same manner. So I'll be connecting these 2 delica to these 2 because that's where I start from. So going through the delica on the number 12, maybe. Oh yes. And like we did before, just sit them on top of each other and zip them. So want to go through once and for the second time, like this. And then to get to the other delica, use the 11-0 there, so there's no thread showing. So through the 11-0 in between the delicas and the other delica now. Yet again, zip. Make it tight so it doesn't wave around. And after this we are ready to add more embellishments. So there will be more layers. The first row is taking one 11-0 and adding it in between the delicas. So pick one 11-0 and always add it in between delica, and like this go around the whole bezel until you finish here. We'll go through the beads and then start again from here. So I'm about to add the last bead, so I'm going through the delica on the other side, and now just continue through the 11-0 in between the delica on the other side and step up actually right through the first 11-0 we added. And here in this new layer we'll be adding peacoats, so always pick one gold 15-0, one pink 15-0 and one gold 15-0 again, and go through the 11-0s we added in the previous row. Adjust always the beads so that the pink is nicely in the middle, and continue like this, gold, pink, gold 15-0 around the whole bezel. And after that we'll add more crystals. So after you finish adding the peacoat, continue through the delica, the 11-0 and the delica here, and then also through the 11-0 on the other side. The first one we added in the 2 rows before, and then step up through the first gold and the pink 15-0, not the second gold. And from there we will add always one pink, one rondelle, and then one pink 15-0 as well. So pink, rondelle, pink 15-0, and then go through the pink 15-0 in the next peacoat. And pull. So again, pink, rondelle, pink, so sorry, I went check for a bit. So like this, go around, and after you get here, just continue through beads to the other side, not of the thread, and you can cut it, and after that the earrings are finished. So after knotting of the thread and cutting the thread, this is the earrings finished. I just went to the other side. I usually go somewhere to the center where it's easier to find a piece of thread between 2 beads, go under it, make a loop, knot and cut. That is it. So these are the jungle flower earrings. I used the golden color to go with the crystal betrayal Rivoli. I hope you like it. And anyway, thank you very much for watching this tutorial for the jungle flowers earrings. You can see they are quite long. I'm a fan of big earrings. You can make just 2, you don't have to make 3 below each other, but I'm pretty sure for summer party you can definitely go for it. If you need any of the materials, just go below the video into the description box. There are links for US and EU site if you need to purchase something, and definitely post the pictures of your earrings into our Beading and Jewelry Making group on Facebook. I'll be very much looking forward to seeing them, and see you in the next one.